Hey there folks, Wrel here, and welcome to the very first episode of Auraxium Update, which will report on the happenings within the PlanetSide 2 community, as well as relay any updates happening to this channel. Now these videos will be taking the place of the old weekly updates and have no set schedule. They'll happen a little bit closer to monthly, but they'll also pop up whenever I feel like there's something interesting or important to talk about. That way I'm not struggling for content every week and we have a really nice, healthy update that's actually worth your time. That said, we do have a lot to cover, so let's get started. The first bit of game news is that yesterday, automated turrets were being stress tested on the public test server. Even with hundreds and hundreds of these turrets spawning in, my frame rate was actually pretty normal, but a lot of the interactions that were happening on the PTS felt sloppy. For example, the turrets themselves had issues tracking targets for too long, and then they would legitimately be shooting through walls, like literally when there's nothing else around you and you're in an enclosed room, they'll be shooting through, hitting you. But there seemed to be some problems with server lag as well. I was getting clipped through walls pretty readily by players because their actions didn't match up with where their place was visually. My latency said that it was stable at around 60 milliseconds, but I don't think that that's actually what was going on. So it still seems like there is some work to be done, and no, the engineer turrets you see here won't actually be what's going on live. There's going to be a custom model for them, and they will be a floating drone that periodically scans a cone and then locks onto enemies and that sort of thing. They've said on numerous occasions that they will be testing the automated turrets for a good long while on the PTS, so I wouldn't be worried about it coming to live anytime soon. What is coming to the live server are pistol optics for both the Underboss and the Commissioner, which is awesome because the Commissioner almost feels like a legitimate primary weapon when you slap a sight on it. It's really powerful, very accurate, has a nice 0.75 times movement speed multiplier, and it's just a lot of fun while aiming down sights. But the other big change is that melee mechanics are also getting revamped. Knives are now wieldable on the PTS, and you can pull them out by either holding down your melee key or pressing the right equipment key, which is 8. By default. You can rebind this key to something else like X or like a button on your gaming mouse or whatever you want. You can actually rebind all of the equipment values if you want, and that was a change that happened a while back but probably didn't get the attention that it deserved. In the background you're going to see some extremely frustrating gameplay where I am primarily using these knives but they weren't working very well. Lots of hit registration issues, but this is probably due to the AI turret testing in the background as well. So there is definitely a lot of potential here, and if knives start acting the way that they should, I'm going to have a lot of fun on live server. I'm like 100 kills off of my Force Blade Auraxium, which should tell you how much I enjoy quick knifing people. Also on the public test server and available for purchase next week is the Anniversary Bundle, which we are going to review once that rolls around. But what I find really neat, outside of the holographic armor, is that the NS-15M and the Baron both have what I guess are decals on top of their standard textures. And I'm really excited about this because it's a new system that opens a lot of doors for interesting customization in the future. Think about custom skins that aren't just repeating patterns, but are something more in line with what Blacklight Retribution or CSGO does. And just as a side note, remember that everything that the dev team does when implementing new systems is intended to translate into the future. Example being with the new scopes and reticule system that opens doors for Player Studio customization later on. The UI on the left side of the screen that pops in when you complete a directive wasn't specifically made for the directive system. It's also retaining other information there, like when you achieve new medals on your weapons. So just remember that everything put in its place now is looking toward the future. Anyway, beyond the public test server, there's also a bunch of stuff happening in the community as well. The last server smash held Cobalt versus Emerald, with Cobalt coming out on top, and normally I wouldn't ruin the result for you, and I'd let you find out for yourself, but it wasn't exactly a close match. So if you're interested in watching that past broadcast, I have left some links in the video description below. On a much smaller scale, PlanetSide Battles, which is the same team that runs Server Smash, is also starting up the PlanetSide Battle League, whose first season will start on the 27th. But it's a 12v12 format with rules similar to PAL, and if you're interested in forming up a team, you can find more information by following the links below. On top of that, we've also got the Farmers Invitational, which has been running for a while now. Really fun to watch, 6v6 matchups, strictly infantry. You can check out their extremely clean, super gorgeous website at ps2farmers.com, and Dopey did a great job on it, so much props to him. I believe that there's only 2 weeks left in the Invitational, and it's not something that you can really get into right now, but definitely check out their Twitch streams, because like I said, it's loads of fun to watch. Links in the video description. Also, as many of you know, Malorn has left the PlanetSide 2 development team. That actually happened a while back, but more recently, he was interviewed by Kid Riot on the Mittani. And the interview is a worthwhile read, in my opinion, very, very well done, and sheds a lot of light on Malorn's history with PlanetSide 2 and PlanetSide 1, and also talks about the gaming industry as a whole, and sort of lays the foundation for future discussions that we should be having about the evolution of PlanetSide 2. Like I said, very much worth the read, and of course I've linked that in the video description, along with everything that we'll be talking about today. Before we go over some of what's happening on this channel, I thought I would take a moment to promote a couple of the newer channels that I think are doing a great job so far. The first is LCTR, who has been doing a lot of previews for some of the stuff on test server, along with more helpful videos, and his content is really solid, even just starting out. I really enjoy his vocals and the editing that he puts into each video, and if you haven't checked him out yet, you can find his channel at youtube.com/lctrgames. The next channel that I would like to highlight is Renzors, and he's been handing out a lot of helpful advice for PlanetSide 2 and first-person shooters in general. Things like crosshair placement and flanking and mouse sensitivity, and he also does montages and video ops with his outfit, Kane. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, go show him some support. I'm personally interested in seeing where both of these channels go in the future, and they're both linked in the video description. Alright, so now onto some fun stuff. In a few of the recent videos, you'll find that there's a link to download super high quality versions of that video. And these are the original renders that I put out before uploading them to YouTube. And because of that, they're at the very least like 2 gigabytes, and I'm experimenting with Handbrake and Xmedia Recode to see if I can keep that same sort of visual fidelity while also shrinking it down a little bit. But the point of these links are to serve 2 purposes. The first is that YouTube quality sucks. It really does. This time last year, that wasn't the case, but nowadays, YouTube compresses their video a lot. So if you want a high quality version of one of my videos to view on your own time, then you can give it a download and keep it forever. The second purpose is that it acts as a sort of tip jar. You can download the video free of charge by just opening up the link and putting a 0 in the box, but if you do appreciate the video and you'd like to help support the channel, then this is an easy way for you to toss in $1 or 2. Also, if you'd like to see a list of all of the high quality videos that you can download, the ones that are currently available, then you can just go to gumroad.com/Wrel. I've also posted a couple of older montages that can't be put on the channel anymore because of copyright issues. And that being said, if you have an interest in supporting the channel in some way, then there are a number of different methods available. You can use PayPal, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Patreon, or buy discounted games from G2A. In fact, I recently put together a list of how you can help out the channel on rel.tv/donate. Before we go though, there are 3 quick things that I would like to point to, and the first is that I recently put together a playlist for outfits to promote their recruitment videos, and if you'd like to add a video to that list, you can post in a Reddit thread that I have linked below. The second is that State of the Game is a new show on the official PlanetSide 2 twitch.tv channel, and the aim of it is to provide a way for players to discuss the game as a whole, and also offer up feedback to the developers in an environment that's safe and where the pros and cons can be weighed in real time. I've linked to the last episode in the video description, as well as some other links for where you can provide feedback for the next episode, which will be taking place on the 21st of November. So that's not this Friday, but it's next Friday. The last thing I would like to share with you is that to celebrate 2 years of PlanetSide 2, I'm doing 3 contests, and you can enter each of them as many times as you like, but there are some requirements. The reward is going to be a Wrel decal and a Platinum Underboss at the very least, and if you didn't know that I had my own decal, that's kind of the point. They're extremely rare, and I don't give them out all willy-nilly. The winners will be announced on the 20th of November, which is the day of PlanetSide 2's 2-year anniversary, and it'll be broadcast live on my personal twitch.tv channel. So if you would like to participate, here's your mission. 1 contest is for Facebook, 1 contest is for Twitter, and the other contest is for Google+. So whichever platform you're a part of, you can enter it that way. Or you can make accounts and enter through any and all of the platforms. It doesn't really matter to me. The first thing that you need to do though is follow me on whichever channel you're entering the contest in. So if you enter through Facebook, you need to like the Wrel Plays channel. If you enter through Twitter, you need to be following me at Wrel Plays. And if you're entering the Google Plus channel, you need to be following me at plus.google.com/pluswarpathrel. All the links are in the video description below. But if you're not following me on one of those platforms, that's your first requirement. The second requirement actually depends on the platform, but they're all going to be using the hashtag PS2anniversary. For Twitter, I want you to tweet out your favorite improvement that was made to the game over the past 2 years, then use hashtag PS2anniversary. For Google+, I want you to write up your most memorable PlanetSide 2 experience in the past 2 years, and try to keep it to about 2 paragraphs, keep it concise. Remember that I do have to go through and read all this stuff, and then you add hashtag PS2anniversary at the end. And for Facebook, I want you to write up what you are most looking forward to in the next year, then hashtag PS2anniversary. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many winners we're going to have at the end of it all, but there's going to be at the very least one for each category. Probably more though. So if you want a Wrel decal, or if you want a Platinum Underboss so that you can work on your exceptional weapon directive, or so that you have an awesome weapon to attach some of the new pistol scopes to, then try to submit something worthwhile. So that is it, people. Your very first Auraxium update, and hopefully there was something useful in here for you. Like I said, this won't be happening all the time, but it will pop up whenever it makes the most sense to me. I'd also like to take a moment and thank all the donors who have supported here and there over the past 2 years, because this is actually coming up on our channel's anniversary as well. 2 years for us, that's kind of cool, right? We've come a long, long way. And I would also like to thank the Patreon donors who do their best to keep this channel running. I would be doing a lot less content without your guys' support, which is probably difficult to imagine right now given the past few weeks have been extremely rough on me for various reasons, but I do appreciate that you guys believe in the channel and you want to help develop the PlanetSide 2 community, and with any luck, maybe inspire a generation of better gamers everywhere. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.
They need a new sound.
This is an old concept.
Soldier, I love you!